So, you're a pretty eloquent guy, Glenn. How would you describe what we just saw today?
Exciting. I mean, yeah, it's obviously it's a win we really needed as a team, and you get it against the measuring stick in the league, right? So proud of how they played, right? It's they are, obviously a tough out, and we've been the class in the league for probably the last 5 or 6 years. So, when you have success against them, you understand what you've had to do along the way and all the little individual performances in that game. And you look in our dressing room and it's blood and sweat right now. The guys are done; they're exhausted. So
Dyson could barely get on and off the podium. You see he's hurt.
Yeah,
great goal.
Yeah.
Do you have any update on Alex?
We think it might be just a meniscal inflammation and tweak. So hopefully, it's nothing structural. It's not like a long term. It's not an ACL or anything like that. So nothing extremely long term.
On the Dane Smith no goal, almost goal right near the end of overtime, was everybody on the bench like sitting there gritting their teeth, or were you kind of confident that didn't go in?
Well, it did. Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like it from where we were, and then we have our video guy on the bench, and he's like, "No, it was the butt end of the stick that kind of got everybody excited." But yeah, we knew. I could see it, and then we saw the video pretty quick, so we knew we were pretty comfortable. Yeah, we weren't worried about the review. We saw the whole sequence.
Jameson, we've seen the best of him before, but how kind of epic was he today? Just the whole thing.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, it's hard to figure out when his best performances are, but that was certainly up there, right? But it's good to see for him too, because it's no secret, and he knows it. He had a struggle for a patch there, but he's been great the last whatever it's been 5-6 games. So good.
So that no goal in the second that happened with Alex, the ball seemingly hit the net. What did the ref say to you on that one?
They said it didn't go in. I don't know. I got to take a better look at it, because it looked to us like we looked on camera, and Simmons, usually the guy who shoots has a pretty good idea. So there's 3 things. I thought it hit the mesh. Simmons said it hit the mesh. We looked at video from the back, and it looks like it hit the mesh. So for us, we thought it was automatic. And then when the ref came back, he said, no, it didn't go in. And we're like, there's nothing you can do at that point. But I sure thought it was a goal.
In a game like this, where you have the Bandit fans that travel very, very well, how hard is it to stay as stoic, even though it still is a home game, but it feels like it's an away game?
It's part of the job, right? Like you gotta have that composure. It's an emotional game, right? So emotions do, they spill over at times. But my job, for the most part, is to try and remain composed, right? Because if you're just losing it and screaming and living and dying on every play, it's just your team unravels. So part of the gig is, to try and remain calm, right? It's not always easy, but that's why I get the big money.
And lastly, you mentioned the emotions on the game. Obviously, this is part of the Tucker Out Cup. Dyson, with that performance, especially winning the game on that goal, what can you say about his, we talked about it last week, his rise, his continuous rise throughout the year?
Well, I'm happy for him because, I think when you're the first overall pick, right? He's having a great season, but I think sometimes the expectations are unreal for people that come in as rookies. And even though he's having a really good year, people are sort of, he's not dominating and he's not taking over, and that takes time. So I think what we're seeing is the consistent progression of his game, and today might have been the best version of it, right? So that's what you want, that's what you expect from players in that position. They need time, right? Zach Masson's another one, right? Like he's, you look at the version he is today versus the version he was in 5 games, he's better, and that's what you wanted these guys.
Do you blame Dyson's slow start on a preseason documentary short done about him?
No, I don't think it was slow at all. I think it was a natural progression.
So in regards to Dyson's confidence, the clutch goals that he's been having, the way that he's scoring, he really has been developing as a player. You mentioned that it was a natural progression, but kind of take me further through Dyson's progress as a finisher, and as a clutch goal scorer.
Well, it's you live the speed, right? So, some of those goals that he scored today were, reached around and put it far side. Like he's learning the pace of defenders. He's learning how he can create his space, and you can't do that without experience. So, he's been adding to his bank of knowledge and his skill as he goes along, because you got to learn. You got to learn how fast these guys are, how quick they close, how quick the slides come, and it takes time. And tonight you saw a little bit of that, right? Where even his winning goal, like people are going to say, oh well, but if you watch that, I mean, he just slipped enough space off that defender in the middle. He knew where the ball was. He gave a live stick. The backhand goal is, I mean, I don't want to say it's lucky, it's skill, because he took that shot and he was trying to put it in the net. He come back short side, he might be able to work on that. But, he just, even how he just was sort of calm in the middle, he came to give a live stick and gave himself an opportunity. That's what he's learning and doing as he goes along.
If four of the teams that are right ahead of you playing each other right now, Glenn, do you scoreboard watch at all with that stuff to see? Or not so much?
I do. I'm not afraid to scoreboard watch. My only thing is, we're a long way. We got to take care of our stuff. So you can scoreboard watch. I haven't up to this point, just because I know that, if we don't go on a run, it doesn't matter what other people do, right? Like, if we don't win, I'm not, there's nothing we can do. So, when we get into the conversation, I'll probably pay a little bit more attention to it. But right now, it's just, and it's probably good, right? Like, we're just singularly focused on what we need to do, because, if we don't win, it's not going to matter what happens around us, right?
Every game a playoff game, basically, right?
Yeah, pretty much, right? Like, we dug a pretty big hole. I think we were 2-8, and now we're 4-1 in the last 5. So that's, that's what we needed to do. We said we had to go on a bit of a run and see if we can make it interesting down the stretch, and that's what we've done. So, it's good. We got to the 6 number. We got a bye week. We can lick our wounds a little bit and then make a nice energized push down the stretch.
Never think having a week off is probably ideal after a game like this.
We need it. Yeah. No, you need it at times in this league, and this is a well-timed one.
We've seen and we've talked about the crowd and what you're building here in Albany, and Chris is building here in Albany. You've now had a few 6,000 plus fans in attendance. I mean, what is being built here seems really special. There's a real passion that's growing in Albany. What can you say about what has been developed from a fan base perspective?
I love it. I mean, I hope it continues to grow and take hold. I mean, I don't, from an entertainment and a sport venue, I don't know what more you could do in terms of the game. Like, I mean, the speed, the physicality, the finesse of it, and then just the excitement of these games that's our 4th overtime game at home. That's remarkable. So, I mean, I don't know, I've been 2 seasons without playing 4 overtime games, right? Maybe 3. So that's incredible. And I wanted to give momentum. I've told you before, I love being in this community, and I want it to grow, and I want us to be in a position to, do this for a long time here.
By the way, you pointed that out, to lose 3 overtime games at home and then win this one. Is it any kind of sign of the growth of the team, do you think? Or is it? Yeah,
I mean, it is. Yeah, like those are composure moments, right? And, there's something to be said about finding a way, and we found a way. So, whether that's, hocus pocus or reality, it's, it makes a difference. Like, teams like Buffalo win those games more often than not, right? Because they're experienced, they're poised, they're savvy, and we've got to learn to be that group. And tonight's one of those stepping stones.
Any more questions?
Well, good.
All right, thank you.